Detroit Lions will rise. With a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the home of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. In the city, where the roar meets the night, the Lions charge, ready for the fight. Noble hearts and steadfast pride. Detroit spirit, we were in white. Feel the drive, hear the crowds embrace. Rocked on, Detroit Lions will rise. Rocked on, Detroit Lions will rise. With a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the home of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. With every game, we rise and unite. Fueling the passion, igniting the light. Through highs and lows, we'll stand as one. Our legacy, a tale that's just begun. Together we roar. Together we roar. Rocked on, Detroit Lions will rise. With a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the home of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. So let's lift our voices. Let's turn it up loud. For the love of the Lions, we'll always be proud.
All right. Good morning. It is Victory Monday. It is the morning after the Detroit Lions completely put the whooping down on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm here joined by Eric Rittemacki. We were at the game yesterday. We're going to talk all about it this morning and highlight quite a few things that happened yesterday and what's on the horizon here for this week versus the Indianapolis Colts. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, what's happening?
What a game, man. What a game. First I want to say this. Had an absolute pleasure getting to meet Randy yesterday, Better the Hunt. He's one of the members of the channel, and very, very excited that I got to partake in his first ever Detroit Lions game. Born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, moves to Idaho, and had an opportunity to bring his daughter to a game, which was the Jaguars yesterday. So I wanted to thank Randy for allowing me to partake in that event, man. It was a great great game to watch, number one, but I mean, what a better father and daughter duo, man, to show up and watch a game. Yeah. It was incredible. So thank them for allowing me to be part of that.
Yeah, it was super nice to meet those guys. And then everyone around me, the people in front of me and behind me, I was in a little mini row because there's only 3 seats in the row that I was at. The people behind me and the people in front of me, it was all their very first Lions game. And they were from Indiana. It was a whole group of people from Indiana, and they were super cool. And they heard me. I was talking to the one guy about how Amon-Ra St. Brown had a touchdown in 7 straight games, and this game would break the record. So he got on DraftKings without telling me, and he put a bet on for $100 on Amon-Ra St. Brown to score a touchdown. And he's like, dude, I listened to you. And he was all happy because he won a bunch of money.
That's great.
Yeah.
So yesterday, man, we had a lot of action yesterday.
Yeah,
a lot of action. The game got kicked off, and I was like, I don't know, man. Are we going to really get after Mac Jones today? What is he going to do? What is it going to take to beat this team? And it seemed like it was a little slow going at first, with the defense, and then it's like the lights went out. It's like the whole tone of the building just changed. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like you're sitting there, you're watching it. I'm meeting new people for the first time, sitting in a section that I've never sat in before. And in a small world, man. I mean, the people that I'm sitting next to happen to know Megan Stefanski and talking about fan of the year and all that stuff. Just great conversations, right? And I think that's what I love the most about Lions fans is the community, right? I mean, seems like we're just such a good fan base. Like everybody just gets along. It's like you're best friends when you sit down next to each other. You don't even know who each other is. It's such an incredible experience. But anyway, we're sitting there. We're just having conversation, right? Ball gets kicked off. We're watching the Lions defense take the field, and it just seemed like for a minute there, Carlton went down. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Like he's already having trouble with his hand. And, it seems like the Jaguars moving the ball a little bit. And I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And then the tone changed. What were you thinking, on that first drive by the Jags? I mean, you forced them to a field goal, but did you feel like the tone was just, all of a sudden it was just different?
Yeah, as soon as we got the ball, you could just feel the energy in the room just go for the Lions. Just immediately, we moved the ball, no problem. They just couldn't stop us at all on offense. We just did whatever we wanted to do. We ran it right down, scored, took the lead, never gave it up.
Well, I mean, for me, it was like, I mean, our defense really, really showed a different side of themselves in this game.
Yeah, they did.
And, for the longest part of the game, Darius seemed to be, I mean, he didn't seem to really get after the quarterback a whole lot, early. I mean, he was working, right? He was also up against Ezra Cleveland, which we didn't know if Cleveland was going to be in this game. And that would have been huge if Cleveland was out. But, I mean, Cleveland's a big boy. And that is a tough matchup there on the left side. The fact that he's taken on the left tackle, which is, predominantly the best tackle on your offensive line, right? He had a tough matchup, and he's in a new defense. Yep. And it took a little bit of time for him to kind of get rolling. But I tell you what, he fit in nicely, and he was making plays. He was all over the place. May not show up in the stat lines, but again, that's what I'm gonna stress to Lions fans again this morning. We had 1 sack in this game. Maybe a dozen pressures, maybe a dozen pressures. We don't need pressures and sacks to win games. Yeah. What we need is what we saw yesterday, which is this hive defense that is just all over the ball. I mean, where you see the ball, you see 5 or 6 Lions hats. That's how you win. You got to smother. It's just like putting out a fire, Eric. You got to smother the fire, right? It's the same thing. Same thing. And we're winning at a high level right now, both offensively and defensively. And Carlton Davis had a message for everybody. And I do want to bring that in here in just a moment. But Eric, give me a few seconds to get the chat open. Anything you want to talk about away with Lions?
So one thing with Zadarius Smith, since you were talking about him, one thing that I noticed where I was sitting, because I was right on the 30-yard line, right where they started every series. It was right in front of me. I was looking right down the line. And what I noticed is that on basically every first play that Zadarius was in, they chipped him with either a tight end or a running back. That left tackle had help every single time. So there was always somebody coming over to give him a little chip or a double team, and off they went, because they didn't want Zadarius getting after him right away.
Right. I didn't notice that a whole lot. So I was down in 102, and great seats, man. A lot of action. I will say this on the one Gibbs touchdown.
Yeah.
So talking to this new guy next to me, I already forgot his name. Apologize. So sitting to this guy next to me, I'm like, man, they just need to run it to the outside. Like Gibbs can burn these guys on the outside all day. I'm like, they need to run it to the outside. Yeah. Well, Gibbs went off the left tackle, right? He got shut down and he spun and he ran it to the outside. And the dude looked at me. He's like, how did you know that? And I'm like, well, they didn't do that play that I wanted, but it worked. I mean, they still got to the outside. He didn't have a choice, but he's so damn quick to the corner. I said, he's extremely hard to beat to the corner. So you give Gibbs just a little bit of sliver of hope, man, and he's going to take it all the way. And yeah, it's just such a good game, man. It was really, really fun to watch. But I want to bring in Carlton Davis here and listen to what he had to say, because this is what this team is all about right now. And I thought it was a great take by him. You know, if you want to beat the Lions, you got to bring your best. So let's bring in Carlton Davis. I'm not going to bring in the video, but I will bring in the audio. Let's take a listen to what he said. Please let me know that you guys have audio this morning. It's been oh, no, you don't want that audio. Here we go. Carlton Davis.
Don't you have the mindset of, then stop us?
Yeah.
It's not our job.
Oh, yeah. Like, if people got problems with what we're doing or complaining about it, then they could just come out here and play better football. Or they could, that's the only thing, that's the only problem that's the only fix to this problem.
Right.
You know, just come out here and we're welcoming it too. Like we don't shy away from nothing. We're going at you whether you want to, whether you're good or bad. We're going at you the same way every week.
Does it make you chuckle a little bit though? Because a couple weeks ago, Xavier McKinney's like, "Oh, they're embarrassing teams out there." I mean, just stop this, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I guess you can like laugh at it, but at the same time, it's serious business. Like it's not as if we're taking it for a joke. Like this is serious business, and like when you come to our stadium, when you know we're coming out to play you guys, take it serious because we're bringing everything we got. So that's the message.
Thank you.
Serious business, says Carlton Davis. We're going to give you everything, so you got to come and play, man. You got to come to our house. We got to go to your house, whatever it is. We're coming to give you everything we have. We're emptying the tank on you guys. And you know, shout out to Xavier McKinney. You're damn right we're trying to embarrass the business. We have 65 years of a trash organization that we have, you know, a lot of paybacks, right? We have a ton of paybacks, and they're all coming. We're trying to come and slap everybody in the face in the NFL right now because y'all done talk so much trash about us for so many years, and we finally have an opportunity to well, we should stay humble, absolutely, but we finally have an opportunity to show the NFL that we can do it, right? It may have taken a long time, but now we're here, and we absolutely don't want to let it go. It can be ripped away at any moment. We lost another amazing piece to this defense in Alex Anzalone yesterday. We've already lost Aiden Hutchinson. We've already lost Derek Barnes. So it can happen. But this is why I keep stressing to the point that if you don't worry so much about sacks and you don't worry so much about the pressures, even though pressure is needed, right? It's everybody on the team has to play at a different level. You can't just depend on one guy or another guy. And Carlton, by what he's saying is, we're going to give you everything we have because everybody's coming to play. It's not just one guy you have to worry about. It's everybody on this team. So what did you think about Carlton Davis' statement there that the only fix to this problem is you just have to play better football if you want to beat the Detroit Lions?
Play better. That's it. You don't want to get embarrassed? Play better. And I got a message for a couple teams that we got coming up here really soon. And we're playing both of them on Thursdays. You better play better or we're going to embarrass the hell out of you on Thanksgiving and the following Thursday. We're coming. This is the Dan Campbell revenge game. So if you've ever talked smack or you've ever beat us down a million times in a row, it's coming. And it's coming. 49ers, watch out. Packers, watch out. Bears, watch out. It's coming.
It absolutely is time, man. I have no doubt right now that the Lions shouldn't just clean house the rest of the season. I really feel that way. I don't think that there's a team on our slate of the schedule for the rest of the season that can really beat us. To Dan Campbell's point, if we are playing our brand of football, nobody can touch us. Nobody.
Nope.
The Bills are probably the scariest team on our schedule, and that's if we don't bottle up Allen, which I don't believe is going to be the case. I firmly believe that Allen's not going to be able to do anything with his feet. Yeah. He might get, a couple here or there, small runs, but and huge shout out to Jared Goff yesterday. I mean, putting four runs in for 21 yards, 5.25 yard average. The broken Jared Goff or the broken giraffe does it again. And man, it was fun to watch him move and scoot. And you know what's funny? I don't know if you noticed this, Eric, but during pregame warmup, Jared was doing this this little training exercise that I've never seen him do in pregame warmup before.
Not the arm swinging around thing?
Yeah, he does the arm thing, this and this. He walks up and down the sidelines and he does the arm thing. But no, he then took the ball, and I think he was working with Hendon Hooker, and he was, doing his footwork and then his rollouts. So he was doing a lot of rollouts pregame. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Jared's going to be moving a little bit. First couple of plays, Jared's rolling out.
Man, I wish I would have took the over/under 2+ rushing yards for Jared Goff yesterday.
So big shout out to Jared Goff for getting a little mobile yesterday. And I hope he understands if he ever hears the baby giraffe, which is Eric's version, or, the broken baby giraffe, which is my version, that it's all in good fun. So when I watch Jared run, it started in the very beginning of the season for me. When I watch him run, you ever seen a baby giraffe get born and then they have to get up and try to walk and they just kind of fumble and, all over the place and fall to the ground? that's kind of what I see out of Jared Goff. You go back and watch some of his runs at the beginning of the year. He's now learning how to slide, which is great, but he didn't know how to slide. So every time he went down, it just looked like a baby giraffe falling out of mom is what it looked like. He just clunk and just landed on the ground. I'm like, that doesn't look good, dude. That's got to hurt. So shout out to him for learning how to slide. It's all good. We got a shout out to a $5 super chat in here. DLR Van Halen says, went grocery shopping before the game. I have never seen so much Lions gear in my life. Well, if you visited a Meijer, man, they're really promoting the hell out of it. And every sports store that I've gone into, they're also loaded. You know, why not capitalize? If you're a store, of course, you're going to want to capitalize right now on Detroit Lions. Everyone wants to buy a piece. So, and thank you for supporting the channel, Van Halen.
I'm going to tell you right now, you haven't seen nothing yet, DLR Van Halen. Just wait until Christmas. The closer we get to Christmas, every store everywhere is going to be loaded with Detroit Lions gear because this bandwagon is loading up and everybody's getting on. Jump on the train. Let's go.
Kyle Brandt put out a post yesterday on Twitter and he said that you said, what a wagon. Or was it Kyle Brandt? Who was it? I think it was Kyle Brandt. He said, what a wagon. No, it was Dan Orlovsky. He said, what a wagon. And I said, it's all good. We got plenty of hitches for the band. Come on. I know what he was saying, but you know, I'm just messing with him.
Another super chat.
Ed O'Neill says, I live in Duval. We own these bums. Laugh out loud. What does Duval mean? Someone enlighten me. I'm clueless on this.
Okay, so I had to look it up because it was annoying me all week. And I'm like, what is this stupid Duval crap? And it's the county in which the stadium resides in Jacksonville.
I got
so
you.
Duval is the county that they reside in. That's it. That's the dumbest thing ever.
All right, let me get to a couple of questions on that in the chat. And then we'll get to a few other things that I've got prepared here. So, Zachary Cleary says that injury to Zadarius Smith literally scared me for a bit, but he turned out to be okay. He popped right back up. I'm going to say this, and I don't know if I believe in these weird energy things, but I was going to the bathroom about an hour and a half before the game. Something popped into my head. I'm like, Zadarius Smith's going to get injured today. And when he was down, and I told the guy next to me, I'm like, something's not right. Like, I had this weird vision just pop into my head that Smith was going to get injured. Like, we just got him. The whole story's being written. Then he gets injured. And then the dude looked at me like, bro, he's like, what's going on here? He's like, you're having too many premonitions or whatever word he used. He's like, you got to stop. So it's kind of weird, but I'm glad he's okay. He popped right up, and then he got a sack like 2 plays later. So good for him.
Yep.
Next thing in here, Zuper said, if you don't come ready, y'all gonna get a BTA. If you'll notice in my Carlton Davis thing there, the BTA is beat they and you know what. So BTA all day is what it is going to be for Green Bay and the Bears here coming up very soon.
Hey,
another question.
Who all's going to Indy this weekend?
I'm working on it. I'll
be there for sure. I'm bringing my buddy Gary, who's never been to a Lions game before. So
there you go.
Yeah. He works for me in the summertime and he does all my video audio stuff and does a great job. Gary Crode, I know you're listening, buddy. He listens every morning. We're going, but we have to take my Suburban. We can't take my new Detroit Lions truck.
Oh yeah, why don't you tell everybody what happened real quick, man? That was crushing.
Oh, man. So I buy my new Detroit Lions truck. I've had it for like 3 weeks. And I go to my very first Detroit Lions home game tailgate. And I get 20 miles from my house on I-75. I'm using Blue Cruise, so I am not driving the vehicle. The vehicle's driving itself. It's this new AI thing with the new Fords. And a deer decides to run out in front of me doing highway, 75 plus mile an hour speeds and gets hit by my truck and couldn't do anything, couldn't swerve. All I could do was hit the brakes because I was in the passing lane passing someone and there was someone right behind me. So there wasn't really much I could do and hit this deer and radiator fluid went everywhere. I ended up having to go like 100 yards behind my truck and find the badge that says number 63 of 800 in the tall grass. Took me like over an hour to find that badge because I knew they wouldn't be able to replace that at the dealership. And so it's going in the shop today and we'll see how many months it takes to get fixed.
So let me ask you this. I don't know about the Blue Cruise. So it was passing somebody?
Yeah.
And it didn't see the deer coming? It didn't know that the deer was coming? Does it take over the vehicle or what?
Yeah, so it takes over. It was driving. So it was steering and everything. And so it's kind of like a what's one of them, a Tesla, you know what I mean? It drives itself. Yeah. And so there's 4 lanes of traffic, 2 going south, 2 going north, and then there's a median in the middle that's like a field in the middle of it. And we were out in the middle of these fields, right? And this deer came out of nowhere in the middle of the median between the 2 lanes of traffic. And next thing I know, I just look up and boom, there's a deer right there. Like literally had no time to react, anything.
Man, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry that happened. I know that truck means a lot to you. Yeah,
I know, dude. Oh, I was crushed. And then you want to know the thing that hurt the worst? I went to Ford Field and I ran into at least 200 or 300 people that know me off of Facebook, and they're all, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry about your truck. Dude, I'm sorry about your truck."
They're just rubbing it in all day. Yeah,
every time it was like getting stabbed with a knife in the side.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we just had a new level 1 Lions faithful.
Yeah, welcome Richard Fitzwell. So Richard reached out yesterday. I didn't know that he was trying to link up at the game, but he'll be in Indy. So if I can make my way to Indy, which I'm pretty positive, so I'm already going to be in Cleveland this week. Just a quick pointer before we get to the rest of the news here. Wednesday and Thursday, I will be off. I've got to go to Cleveland for some testing. And if Eric wants to step up and do anything he can, I can get it figured out before then, or we'll figure out something.
Yeah, we'll try to figure it out.
So Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be off. There is a possibility. I mean, I could do some stuff that night from the hotel, but we'll get it figured out. Hopefully this is my last trip for this year. I'm really hoping, because it's taken way too much of my time out.
If you need a ride down to the game, man, me and Gary can come pick you up and we'll go down from there.
Yeah, I'm sick of going to Cleveland, dude. Like I really am.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. If you drove a whole bunch and you just want on Saturday us to come pick you up, we can come pick you up.
Sounds good, man. Well, maybe I'll take you up on that. All right. Yep. So Lions in 5th place for points against right now. So Eric brought up a point this morning. You know, it's more of a question, like where are the Lions right now? You know, we're holding teams to, 6 points, 7 points, 9 points, 13 points, 17.7 points on the season. One of my biggest numbers for the Lions to hit this season was just to keep teams under 20 points, and we're going to win a lot of ball games. And so far it's 17.7. Your Detroit Lions are 9-1. They have 8 weeks to go now? What are we, week 11?
7 weeks.
Week 12. So
8.
We have 7 more games. 7 more games to play. And if the Lions lose one more game, I would be surprised. I would really be surprised. Offensively, I think the Lions are putting up, was it 33.6 or was it 36.3? Did you see that number?
Yeah. So it's 33.6, and then we're giving up 17.7.
So if you were to minus those two, this is the biggest margin of points, between a team ever.
I got something neat for you. All right. So the Lions have a point differential. If you take those two numbers and minus the big one from the small one, the Lions have 159 point differential. So that means we are beating teams by 15.9 points per game. Okay.
It's incredible.
I'm going to tell you about the rest of the teams in the NFC North. Are you guys ready for this? So the Vikings, their point differential is 74. Ours is 159. Theirs is 74. The Packers is 37, and the Bears is 7. So you divide those by 10. That means the Vikings are winning by 7.4 points per game. The Packers are winning by 3.7 points per game. And the Bears are winning by 0.7 points per game. And they've only won 4 games this year.
Crazy. Mr. Thomas says, well, good morning, gentlemen. Good to see you. Did you guys hear Kirby Joseph quote he said about Jacksonville when asked about the blowout? If you ain't ready to play us, we're going to beat your, and it was actually beat that. Yes, we absolutely heard it. We'll bring it in here in just a moment. Yeah, I mean, it's a statement, right? I mean, these guys are so ready to play. And I do want to highlight, the DBs a little bit this morning. But first, let's get to smashing that like button for Dariussmith first sack. Once we get above 60 likes, we're going to get these ads turned off so we can just enjoy the rest of the show without ads. So let's go into this real quick. So Lions 8 straight drives yesterday.
Yep.
Field goal, touchdowns, every drive. No punts. Ben Johnson tasked this offense to not punt this game. Now, last week, I promised everybody I was going to put out a video of Ben Johnson and the challenge, the fact that he's been failing at something, and I didn't put it out. I failed. I just had a lot going on, couldn't get anything done this weekend. And it's kind of funny because the video was like this. There was a stat that came up during the week that said that Ben Johnson was failing Jahmyr Gibbs by his success rate in the passing game. But not just Jahmyr Gibbs, also David Montgomery. So like no wheel routes, no screen plays, like all of the little short passes that all the other teams are doing to their running backs, getting them out in space and allowing them to do what they do best. When you look at it, we haven't been using it. So this stat came out and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I can't believe I didn't notice that we're really not utilizing these backs for the second straight season in the way that we were promised in the preseason of last season, or in the offseason of last season. When we picked up Jahmyr Gibbs, it was like, this guy is going to be a passing threat unlike anybody else. We're going to see him in the slot. We're going to see him lined up all over the offensive line. And it hasn't really happened. So I was putting this video together, kind of highlighting these things and going through how many times, Ben Johnson has called these plays. And, whenever we see those defunct, a couple of series in a row where it just looks god awful and Ben Johnson forgot how to call plays, which happens from time to time. Maybe Ben took this to heart. Well, whoever put this out, maybe he took this to heart, because immediately he was getting these guys involved in the passing game. So, not only did Ben Johnson want this offense to prove to him that we didn't have to punt, number one. Number two, you'll hear from Penei Sewell how he had something to prove. He felt that the last couple of games just hasn't been himself. And I've highlighted some of that too, where the offensive line just hasn't looked itself. Yesterday, I saw Graham Glasgow on his back a few times again, and he just looks sore. He looks beat up right now. Graham looks a little slow. Taylor Decker got beat right away again yesterday, early in the game. And then it was after that point that everything settled down. And these guys played at such a high level. And I can't wait to see some of the grades. I know that, a lot of us have lost faith in PFF, but I think it's a guide to kind of give us an opportunity to have a conversation. And the eye test, as we always talk about here, is the most important thing. And yesterday, man, I thought the offensive line played incredibly well. But not only that, going 8 straight drives with a touchdown or a field goal, putting up another 50-burger, second one on the season, fourth game over 40 points, which leads the NFL by more than 2, right, Eric? So we have two more games than anybody else with 40 or more points.
Nope. So
or is it 3?
The Lions have 4 games of 40 or more points. The Ravens have 3. The Commanders have 2. The Saints have 2. The Bengals, Buccaneers, Texans, Bills, and Cardinals all have 1.
Gotcha. So we're still leading. Quick note here to John Peebles. Any news on Alex? So Alex is going to be out. Alex Anzalone is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken forearm. I was sitting right there when Eric was right there too, watching Alex walk across, and you could see the trainer had his arm holding his forearm together. Initially, it looked like it was a wrist, but it ended up being the forearm. It is broken, so it'll be 6 to 8 weeks. He'll be back. He'll be back definitely by playoffs. Maybe the second week of playoffs would probably be the best bet, but definitely Super Bowl. He should be back for it, and he'll have nice fresh legs. So, sucks for him, man. It really sucks for him.
He put out a tweet or whatever that said he'll have fresh legs. So,
yeah, his tweet was this. Let me find it here. I've got it saved. It says, "Thank you everyone for the well wishes. As an athlete, a lot of times you think, why did this have to happen? But I like to think about all of the countless reps something bad didn't happen. I'm beyond blessed. I'll be back in no time, fresh legs and all." So it's such a great positive take. He's looking at this from the other side where, how many times has he played in a game where there's a, possibility for injury on every play, that he's come out okay. And, you know, this was his turn, I guess, to have to deal with an injury. And the Lions have yet another week of having to deal with, you know, resiliency and bouncing back. Ben Nyman was probably the highest graded linebacker in yesterday's game. Jack Campbell has been playing an extremely high level this season. So, again, it's next man up between Ben Nyman and Jack Campbell and Rodrigo. I think we're okay. But our depth is a little suspect. Earlier, someone asked in the chat, are we going to get, another linebacker? Is Brad Holmes going to bring in another linebacker? And I'll get these ads off. And I would say this. Trade deadline's over. So now we have to go and poach from practice squads if there's even anybody good enough available. And I can already guarantee you this. Teams are probably already looking at their rosters right now at this point and saying, who do we need to protect? What moves do we need to make? Because the Lions are on the prowl. They're looking. And I expect Brad Holmes to do something. How soon? You just don't know. Would have been great to pick up a linebacker and an edge rusher during the trade deadline. Just didn't happen that way.
Well, we kind of did. We just brought in Turner. He's number 47. And I had to look him up. I was like, who the heck is Turner? During the game yesterday, I was like, who's this guy? I had to look him up. He was a linebacker that we just picked up.
Yeah, that was what, a week and a half ago?
Yeah.
But I don't think he has a whole lot of experience, does he?
I'm not sure. But I literally had no clue who the guy was when we got to the game there yesterday. I'm like, who the heck is that guy?
It's Ezekiel Turner, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he's 28 years old. I think he has about 3 or 4 seasons maybe in the NFL. Here, I'll pull up his career real quick. Let's see. He started in 2018 with the Cardinals. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is his 7th season in the NFL. So he has quite a bit of experience. He played in 16 games in 2018, 12 in 2019, 16 in 2020, only 5 in 21. So maybe he was injured. 22 and 23, played in 15 and 16 games. So a lot of experience. I guess I was wrong there. I don't know. Maybe I was thinking of Thomas. Lot of experience. I don't know how many snaps though.
Yeah, I don't know how many snaps he got yesterday, but I know he played because he was out there.
No sacks in his career. But we'll see where it trends. I'm really excited to see where James Houston continues to develop because so far, week by week by week, he's getting better and better and better and better. Yeah. So, he's going to have another opportunity here to show what he's all about. Yeah, he made a couple of good tackles yesterday. He almost got called for a late one, man. He was really
it was really close.
He was really chippy yesterday.
Yeah. I noticed that the Jags were trying to get the Lions to engage in after the whistle stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, great job by hitting all the likes this morning, everyone. Let's keep it going. Let's get above 100 before we get off this morning. That would really help. We got about 160 people in watching the show this morning. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you all joining the Rise and Grind Morning Show every weekday, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Unless I'm in Cleveland or something. So appreciate you guys joining us this morning. So anyway, we're talking about the Lions' 8 straight drives, and field goals and touchdowns was just our day yesterday. So let's highlight where the Lions did their damage yesterday. Let me get the play-by-play open. Play-by-play. So Lions' first score of the game, 9 plays, 70 yards, took 4 minutes and 37 seconds off the clock. To score, though, was David Montgomery up the middle for 2 yards and a touchdown. Jake Bates' extra point obviously was good. Jake Bates still perfect on the season, by the way.
Did you notice the Jake Bates mania that was going on there yesterday?
No.
Pre-game. So before the game started, Jake Bates is out there kicking stuff, and I watched him kick a 72-yarder in pregame.
I didn't see that.
And the kids and all the people that were up in front of me, because there was 3 rows, I was in the 3rd row, and right in front of me is the little tunnel where like Coach Campbell comes out and they go right back to the locker room. And all the coaches come out of that tunnel. They don't come out of the main tunnel. And Jake Bates was kind of hanging around right there, and it was Jake Bates mania. they were just screaming for him, wanting his autograph, and they kept showing the Jake Bates, NFC Player of the Week, Special Teams Player of the Week up on the screen and stuff. So I thought it was pretty cool that Legatron was getting a lot of love yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves it. I mean, he's the best kicker in the NFL right now, or one of.
Yeah, well, he's the only perfect kicker on the season right now, I believe.
He absolutely deserves it. The Lions definitely found one. And hopefully he's going to stick around for a lot longer. And I wouldn't even doubt by the end of this season. I mean, are the Lions going to probably re-up and extend him for a 4 or 5 year contract and just lock the guy up right away?
Yeah,
you might as well do it while you can probably get a better rate on the guy. Because if he does this again next year, he's going to get paid and paid well by somebody.
Yeah, because we signed him to a 2 year contract for this year and next year.
It's a relatively inexpensive contract too. So I'm sure that he's already outplayed his contract value. Let's put it that way.
That was like $1 million or something.
Yeah. So second score for the Lions, 13 plays, 93 yards. The Jaguars punter yesterday. Wow. That dude had a leg, and it was Cook. I can't remember his first name, but Cook was a 55-yard punt. Went all the way down to the Detroit Lions 7 for no gain. I believe on that one, Raymond did not call for a fair catch and got dropped right there. I mean, I couldn't believe he didn't call a fair catch right there.
Me neither. It was inside the 10-yard line. And
normally you just let those go.
Yeah. Don't you remember in high school when you're on special teams, they always say stand at the 10-yard line. And if it goes over your head, just let it go. Anything inside the 10, do not catch it.
Right.
Just let it go. It's more likely to bounce in the end zone and you get a touchback.
Right.
So I wish Raymond wouldn't even have touched that ball.
So 13 plays. They get started right away with a first down pass to Patrick, which was for a first down. And then Gibbs off the right end for 3 yards. And then it was a short pass to St. Brown, pushed out of bounds for 5 yards. And then it was an incomplete. Ball was thrown away by Jared Goff. And I think that was the play where I want to say Jahmyr Gibbs was wide open to the left. And he had 3 blockers in front of him and daylight all in front of that. But when Jared Goff came back, it almost looked like he was off balance and he couldn't get the ball out, and the ball looked sideways, wasn't pointed at Jahmyr. And then Jared pulled it down, spun around, and then just dirted it. Had he gotten that ball to Jahmyr Gibbs, that was gone. That was like a 70-yard catch and run easily. So they were definitely trying to get some of those swing passes involved in this game yesterday. I have a feeling Ben Johnson was a little ticked off at some of the things that are being written about him. So anyway, incomplete. And then they, what happened next? So short right to Amon-Ra St. Brown again, 18-yard play. And then Gibbs off the right end for 1 yard. And then Gibbs up the middle for 8 yards in the touchdowns. For 8 yards. And then they just kept moving the ball. And then the Lions scored on a Jahmyr Gibbs up the middle for 1 yard. Lions' third score. And by the way, I don't know if you guys caught this, but I'll bring in my Twitter here in just a moment. What Dan Campbell said after the game. So you want to talk about people that maybe on the same wavelength here? Or maybe did Dan Campbell have someone look at my Twitter? Just kidding, but you never know. I said something during the game yesterday about David Montgomery, and I'm going to show you guys what I said and then what Dan Campbell said in the post-game press conference. It's kind of funny. So Lions' third touchdown to go up 21-3 got started right away with, again, Amon-Ra St. Brown at the Detroit 38 for 2 yards. It was a lateral then to do Jameson Williams, which went for another 9 yards. The play ended, or the series ended, with another David Montgomery push up the middle for a touchdown of 6 yards. So Lions were using a lot of different scheme in this game. And Ben was that mixologist again yesterday. You really couldn't just figure out what Ben was going to do. You couldn't figure out what this offense was going to do. Jared Goff was mobile in the pocket, moving around, using his legs. And it's something that we really haven't seen a whole lot from Jared this year. I mean, he was kind of getting set in his ways, it seemed like, for the first several weeks, and he wasn't utilizing his feet. And yesterday, the more mobile Jared is, the better he is. So I get it. When I hear fans clamoring like, we just need a mobile quarterback and, we need Lamar Jackson or we need, an Allen or whomever or Patrick Mahomes. We don't. We just need Jared to move a little bit. If he has any amount of time, he's going to find the right outlet. he's going to find, the right progression. And that was highlighted again yesterday, even by Penei Sewell, who also said that, Jared just needs a little bit of time. He's going to find, and Amon-Ra said the same thing. He's going to need a little bit of time, and he's going to find the right outlet. So fourth down, or the fourth possession again ended in touchdown to go up 28-3, end of the second quarter. So Lions scored, let's see, was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 straight touchdowns and a field goal to end the day, 52-6. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, Jake Bates hit a 52-yarder, perfect, right down the pipe, right in the middle. No hesitation, and it was 3/4 of the way up the uprights. Easy peasy. And I thought at the end of the game that they were going to try for another Jake Bates field goal, and then Hendon Hooker went for it on 4th down and then just kneeled out the game. I was kind of disappointed that Hendon Hooker didn't get a touchdown. But I will say this. It was nice to see Hendon Hooker go 3 of 4. He ran around a little bit. He was nice and solid on his passes that he was throwing, and he hit some receivers. I really liked seeing Sion Vaki out there getting some reps. He got a couple of really nice runs. Craig Reynolds had a nice run in the 4th quarter. So when our starters went out and we put in our second stringers, it was nice to see that even they were moving the ball on the Jaguars. So it makes me feel a little bit better about our backups. And like Dan Campbell was saying, people were asking him, why is Penei Sewell still out there? Why is Graham Glasgow still out there? He's like, well, we only dressed 3 extra linemen today. So we don't have anyone else to put out there. So when everyone asks, why are our starters out there in the 4th quarter? Well, you don't have a whole nother set of 22 people to put out there.
Right.
We just don't, the team is just not that big. You don't have that many. You don't have a backup for every single player to be able to come out of the game. So like yesterday, in some of the like NFC North groups, people are like, oh, Dan Campbell leaving the starters in the 4th quarter. That's why your players are getting hurt. And you know what? They have to be out there. And it's just bad luck. That's all that happened yesterday.
Well, I think to your point, and I don't know if you just said this, but Dan also mentioned that when you start thinking about injury and you start worrying about injury, that's when injuries happen. Mm-hmm. You can't think about it. You've got to go in and play the game. So you have to expect that these guys are going to play the entire game. That's what they're there to do.
Yeah, if it's a tight game, it's going to be, let's say it was 17 to 18, and you needed a field goal to win the game or a defensive stop to win the game. You're not going to take Alex Anzalone out of the game in the 4th quarter in a tight game.
Right. So you're expecting him to play the entire game. I think that what Dan's trying to say is, look, these guys are here to play, and this is very odd. And I would love to bring in his audio, but I don't have it queued up. But it's really odd, for the Lions, or maybe it's for any NFL team that, 4 or 5 times now this season, you've got such a sizable lead headed into the 3rd quarter that, you're kind of at this conundrum. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I don't have a bunch of guys that I can just throw in the game. And you don't want to have to do that. But at the same time, he's now trying to evaluate the best way to manage the game, the best way to get some guys some reps, and the best way to get some guys some rest without, having to dress additional, players for the game. It's tough. So whatever Dan does, we're just going to have to trust. It's easier to get Jared Goff out, of course. I think that it's easier to get Amon-Ra out because you have extra wide receivers. You can get, the duo and Sonic and Knuckles out because you have 2 extra backs in the game. So those can happen. But defensively and offensively, on the lines, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to get all those guys out. So we just got to respect it and roll with it. Injuries are going to happen. They're part of the game. And like Dan said, we can't dwell on injuries or they're going to happen.
Hey, remember earlier when we were talking about 40 points or more?
Yeah.
Check this out for 50 points or more. So this season in the NFL, only 3 times has a team scored 50 or more points. 2 of the 3 times it has been the Detroit Lions scoring 52 points. And then the Buccaneers on October 13th scored 51.
Say that all again?
So the Lions have scored 52 points twice.
Right.
Okay. And the Buccaneers scored 51 once back in October.
But what's the stat? What's the stat line? What are you saying?
This year, there's only been 3 times that an NFL team has scored 50 or more points, and 2 of those 3 times are the Detroit Lions.
I got you. I misheard that whole first part. So, well, since you're talking about records,
let's
bring in some records, man. Let's talk about what these Detroit Lions did yesterday.
God, history in the making.
Big time. So I'm going to bring that in. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So let me just kind of recap what happened, and then we'll move on to stats. So the Detroit Lions cruised obviously to a dominant 52-6 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. And this extends the Lions' winning streak now to 8 games. 8 games, improving to 9-1 on the season. Jared Goff led the charge with 4 touchdown passes, including 2 to Amon-Ra St. Brown, as he also racked up a franchise record, Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions offense, 645 total yards. The 46-point margin of victory marked the largest in team history and handed the Jaguars their most lopsided defeat in franchise history. Huge day. According to PFF, though, which these numbers are not out there yet, Jared Goff was the highest graded player at 92.1. Also gets his first perfect passer rating game of 158.3. Finally, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the second highest graded player at 91. And get this, Ben Nyman, 91.2, highest graded defensive player for the Lions yesterday. Remember the guy that I said in leading up to training camp? They bring in Ben Nyman. And I said, this is a guy that needs to make the team. This is a guy that I was so high on to make the team. And everyone thought I was nuts. Everybody, every beat writer out there thought I was nuts. Nobody had Ben Nyman on their list. Very few thought he would even have a chance to make the practice squad. And now Ben Nyman has an opportunity to step into this defense with Alex Anzalone out and show you just how good he can be. Super impressed by Ben Nyman and the way that he's been playing. So I've got to give him some claps of the day, because I'm really impressed with the way that he's playing right now. Anything you want to add to Ben Nyman?
How incredible. Quiet, persistent. You don't even realize he's out there playing until he makes a tackle or does something special. You don't even realize it's him. And between him and Nowoski, they're going to have to step up with Alex Anzalone being out for a while. Same with Rodrigo. Rodrigo made a great tackle yesterday. He put the smack down a couple times. It was fun to see him back out there.
Absolutely. Player of the game, obviously Jared Goff delivered yet another excellent performance as he led this team to its 9th win of the season. Goff completed 24 of 29 passes. He was off and running to a perfect day already. Unfortunately, the having to dirt the ball, I think it was like the 3rd pass of the game. I think he still went like 13 of 14 or something to kind of start the game, but you could tell that he was dialed in. But 24 of 29, 412 passing yards, 4 TDs, no INTs, no sacks. He wanted to come out and prove that last week was just last week. We're over last week. We're now on to this week. And after today, they're already on to the Colts. He may not have recorded, really any big time throws. I guess I would say there wasn't a whole lot of deep shots. But then again, I would call that, some of these passes that are 15, 18, 20 yards over the middle to, Jameson Williams or Amon-Ra St. Brown or Brock Wright or whomever, those are big time throws. And he's finding these guys open. Again, our explosives, I don't have the numbers on explosives. I don't know how many passes we had over 20 yards or how many runs over 15, but I'll find that out for tomorrow. Huge day for these guys.
J-Mo quietly had his best day ever.
Yeah, absolutely did.
124 yards on 4 receptions and a touchdown.
So Jared Goff, he was absolutely excellent yesterday when kept clean from pressure. He was 22 of 25 for 368 yards and all 4 of his touchdowns, which shows how clinical he is as a surgeon as an operator in this game yesterday for the Detroit Lions all season, the way that he has been, I'd say almost 2 seasons now. The guy has surgical precision when you give him a pocket, as you would hope any quarterback would have. Now, you can go compare Jared Goff's tape to any quarterback in the NFL. I don't care who it is. You give them the same amount of time. You give them that clean pocket the same amount of time. And you tell me who's going to complete the passes more often than not. And I'm willing to bet everything on Jared Goff over a Patrick Mahomes, over an Allen, over Lamar, over any of them. And you might call me crazy, but I'm telling you right now, you give Jared a pocket and he's going to dice you up because he's proven it every single week, week in and week out, when you give him the time that he deserves and needs like any quarterback. Now, keep in mind, a quick pressure now in the NFL is considered 3 seconds or less. I've always been the believer of 2.5 seconds. I've never graduated to giving these defensive linemen an extra half a second. And I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair, because Jared Goff had 3.02 seconds yesterday and he completely sliced up the Jags. So you give him 3 seconds, he's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Offensive plays, Lions had 76 offensive plays, 645 net yards, 8.5 yards per play. First downs, it says 37 in PFF, but I thought it was 38. Rushing first downs, Lions had at least 13 and at least 22 by air. Only 2 penalties, or only 2 penalties for first downs. I think that's what that says. Third down efficiency, huge, 60%. 60%. Fourth down efficiency, 75%. I think the Lions went for what? Was it 4 times on fourth down?
I know Hendon Hooker did it once.
It must have been 4 times. It can't be 3 and it can't be 2 to get to a 75%. Had to be 4. I know it wasn't 6. Lions had 9 possessions, as did the Jags. Average plays per drive, 9.3. And that's a number that I want you guys to remember. We're running long drives yesterday. Yesterday was in my opinion, it was a clinic, right? We just didn't throw the ball deep and quickly score. Nope. They worked their way down the field. Everything was working. That is extremely difficult to do, to string together 9 drives with an average of 9.3 plays per drive. Absolutely stunning performance by this offense and Ben Johnson. Average yards per drive, 64.5. Average points per drive, 5.2. I don't know if that's even been done yet this year by any other team. Red zone possessions, 6. Lions scored in every red zone opportunity.
See, I love seeing that, because when we played the Bucks, we just could not put it in. We went to the red zone 7 times in that game against the Bucks and did not score.
I think we had 1 in that game. Were we 1 for 7 in that game?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. And we just could not put it in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. We had 1 red zone that was, I believe, a field goal. Right? No, we had 1 red zone opportunity we did score. We were 83% on the day.
Oh, okay.
So close enough, though.
So what was our time of possession?
Time of possession. Don't see that number in here.
I didn't see it anywhere.
You'd probably have to look at the ESPN box score. It should be in there somewhere.
Yeah, that's what
I just don't have it up.
Yeah.
So, all right, crazy stats of the day, though, since we're talking about the offense. Here's a look at the records set by the Detroit Lions yesterday. 46, and that was the Lions' margin of victory. Sets a franchise record. 46 points between the Lions and the Jags. Lions total yards. Again, this number has got 3 different numbers. Some say 644, some say 645, some say 646. I'm just going to go 645. Another franchise record. 38, the Lions had 38 first downs. Another franchise record. 7 consecutive touchdown drives to start the game by the Detroit Lions. That's the most in a regular season game since 2007, according to ESPN. The Bills also accomplished this feat in January 2022 playoff game against the Patriots. 475 was the yardage difference in the Lions' favor against the Jags. The Lions put up 645 yards to the Jags 170. That's the largest differential in a game since 1979 and the third largest in NFL history, according to Underdog Sports. 24 consecutive games, including the postseason, in which the Lions have scored a rushing touchdown, which is a new NFL record.
Love it. Love it.
8. That's the number of times that Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Amon-Ra St. Brown have all scored touchdowns in the same game. They're the first NFL trio to all score touchdowns in 8 games in NFL history. And then 3 wins by 38 points or more by the Lions this season. They are the third team in the Super Bowl era to record 3 wins by that margin and the first since 1973 Falcons. And then there was 0 wins by 38 points or more by every other team in the NFL. So the Lions have the most wins by 38 points or more, which is 1, right? 90. This is how many years since the Lions have won 8 consecutive games in the same season. This is truly an historic season for the Detroit Lions. 90 again. Years since the Lions have started a season 9-1. Hold on here. 1 second. I don't know why my math isn't mathing. So, Eric.
Yeah.
I knew my math was mathing. What does that 90 signify to you?
90.
What does it signify? If it's been 90 years since the Lions have done this,
Yeah.
what year does that bring us back to?
1934.
1934. What does 1934 represent for the Detroit Lions?
They were the Portsmouth
Spartans.
Spartans, yep. We weren't even the Lions yet.
1934 is a very significant number for the Detroit Lions. And all of these numbers, if you're a believer in any of these wild, conspiracies or whatever, maybe it means something. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I think it means that we're on our way to the Super Bowl this year is what I'm hoping for. And then there was 19. It's been 19 years since the Lions had 3 consecutive winning seasons, which now they have done with our win this past Sunday. Dan Campbell. I mean, my goodness. He has completely turned around this franchise. Well, I shouldn't just say Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell and staff. Dan Campbell and management. Dan Campbell and Sheila. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. Dan Campbell and Chris Spielman. All of them together have completely turned around this franchise. 4 is the number of games by Jared Goff with a passer rating of 140 plus this season, tied for the most in NFL season history. I'm not going to give him the horn because this week he'll break it, hopefully. 158.3, we already know what this number signifies. Jared Goff has tried to get a perfect, or maybe he didn't try, but he almost had a perfect rating twice this season, and now finally got it. 158.3, Goff's passer rating on Sunday is the second perfect passer rating in Lions history. Get this. David Craig was the only other one in Lions history in 1994.
Oh,
Who?
not Matt Stafford, huh?
Who?
Who?
I kept saying that yesterday. Lamar who? Lamar who? You see watching this Jared Goff guy out there? Who's Lamar?
Hey, speaking of that, last night I was listening to the Chiefs and the Bills game. And at the end of that Bills game, after listening to all these balls that hit the dirt or were overthrown or thrown away by Mr. Brad Allen or Josh Allen, they were cheering MVP, MVP, MVP. And I'm thinking, you know what? He didn't have all that spectacular of a game, but he did beat the Chiefs. And Dan Orlovsky last week said that Jared Goff had destroyed his MVP chances because of that 5 interception game last year. But you know what? Tom Brady threw 4 interceptions in a game and lost the game, and he still won MVP. So I have hopes that Goff can stay on this trajectory for the rest of the year and still win MVP. I don't care what Dan Orlovsky says.
I don't think Jared Goff has ever been removed from the MVP conversation. And like I put out there to, I think it was Kyle Brandt yesterday, I responded to one of his tweets and I said, Jared's never been removed. The problem is he's up against a biased AP. Yep. That's the problem. If this was voted on by anybody else but the AP, there's no reason in the world why Jared Goff isn't in a 1-2 conversation with Lamar, and right now he should be winning it. To me, the most valuable player of a year or of a team, of a season, whatever, is what have they done for their team to win? How important if you remove Jared Goff from this team, are they 9-1?
No, they're 1-9.
Exactly. If you remove Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens, do they still have a pretty similar record?
Yeah,
I don't know who their backup is, but probably not. But I would say that Jared Goff and what he's been able to do because of his stats, now stats are a part of it. I would say you can't replace that with just any old quarterback. I mean, Lamar Jackson, let's say it another way. Could Lamar Jackson do what Jared Goff is doing on this team? Do you think he could? I don't think he could. And here's why. I don't think that Lamar Jackson is as pure of a passer as Jared Goff.
No.
Lamar's a good passer of the football. He is not a pocket passer, in my opinion. He likes to use his legs. He can extend plays. But I don't think his style of play fits what Ben Johnson offense does. I don't know that Lamar Jackson has... Now, I don't mean this, as a slight to Lamar, but I don't know if Lamar has the brain power to do the progressions like Jared Goff does. I don't know that. I really don't. I don't know if he has that high of a level of quarterbacking, if you will, to be able to move through the projections and go through a very difficult offense of scheme like they have in Detroit. It's a very difficult offense. It's not easy.
We need to.
So I couldn't answer that.
We need to reach out to Coach DC and see if he'll come on and do a little bit of maybe, late season MVP talk about Goff and Lamar.
I'll do that. I'll reach out to him today.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a fun conversation.
And I think he would give us an honest opinion.
Yeah, that's really what I mean. Yeah, he's not biased at all.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Jared Goff on his perfect day, man. What an excellent day for him. What an excellent day. Crazy good day. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a career day as well, notching a new personal high in receiving yards, 161 on 11 catches. He was targeted 11 times, caught the ball 11 times. He brought in the score late in the first half and then another to end his day in the red zone. Man, a lot of records. Let me open up this other link here. There's more records. And I haven't even gotten to the Twitter machine yet. Jameson Williams, you already brought this up, but Jameson Williams, where's he at? Jameson Williams had his career best showing on Sunday. He hauled in 4 passes for 124. His score came on the team's first drive in the second half. Did you guys notice his leap into the end zone there? Do you know what that was? That was the Marshawn Lynch leap.
Oh, really?
Where he held his,
yeah, he's backwards or whatever.
His nutsack. Yeah. He was holding his nutsack to the defender in front of him. That's the Marshawn Lynch. That's the Marshawn Lynch leap.
Man, he just wants.
He'll be fine for sure. He'll be fine.
God, he just wants to get fined again.
Yep, he'll be fine for sure.
I know he's having fun. I don't want to take that away from him, but my God, just knock off the dumb crap.
Well, I didn't even notice that he grabbed the old, he did the old Michael Jackson there for a minute. But the thing that I would say is this: please stop jumping into the end zone like that. Please. Yeah. Because if you come down on a shoulder and you bust up your AC joint and then you're out for the season, you're going to hurt the team.
Yeah.
Put the team before everything else. Yeah, like you said, he's excited, but he landed awkward again.
Yeah, dunk it over the field goal post again or something.
Yeah, at least that way you're going to get a fine and you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
David Montgomery. Yeah. David Montgomery was a tone setter again for the Lions on Sunday, scoring the game's first touchdown on a drive that he absolutely dominated. It was one of 2 scores on the day. He also reached the 10 touchdown milestone now for the second consecutive season. Now, I want to bring something in because during the game when he was running, I was early. It was probably first quarter. He was dragging 3, 4, 5 guys with him. He was stopped short about 3 yards from the first down, and he just plowed. He absolutely just plowed and carried all of these guys with him. And my post was this. It said, Montgomery's legs are like 1,000-pound sledgehammers. He just keeps driving forward. That was during the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's my post. Dan Campbell. Here's my second post 15 hours later. It said, okay, so did Dan Campbell review my post from earlier in the game? He just, his post-game speech said exactly what I said during the game. How crazy is that? Crazy. Did you guys hear the audio there? Eric, were you able to hear the audio?
Nope, I could not.
Okay. Let me know if you guys are able to hear the audio. So what Dan Campbell said is we've got serious juice. Oh, you couldn't hear it? All right, let me fix it. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know why this always happens to me with this. Why couldn't you guys hear the audio? Come on, where's it at? One second. You might not be able to hear the audio from this unless I put desktop audio on. Let me try it again.
We got power up front, with our old line, and we got some serious juice in the backfield and the perimeter, and we got the right balance of, electricity and just whatever you want to call it, man, sledgehammer. We got power up front, with our old line, and we got some serious juice in the backfield and the perimeter, and we got the right balance of, electricity and just whatever you want to call it, man, sledgehammer. We got power up front, with our old line.
All right, so there you go. You guys should have heard it that time where he's talking about we've got power up front. They have the electricity with Gibbs, and then he's like stumbling. He's like, and whatever you want to call it, sledgehammers. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, how is it that I call out that David Montgomery's legs are like 1,000-pound sledgehammers during the game, and then Dan Campbell follows it up with after the game saying the same thing? That's what I saw. That's what I feel about David Montgomery. I mean, his legs are just going, and he's bringing guys with him. And it just reminded me of just, guys swinging sledgehammers. It's a tough job. It's a gritty job. And someone's got to do it. David Montgomery is doing it. Awesome. So hopefully you got the audio there the second time. Who else had some career day stuff yesterday? Kirby Joseph?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Joseph brought in his 7th interception of the season, making him the NFL leader in that statistic. He hauled it in late in the third quarter on a deep pass intended for Luke Farrell. Now, through his first 3 NFL seasons, Joseph now has 15 career interceptions. I think that number is off.
About 16.
Hold on. I actually went through and looked at his records by Pro Football Reference. And so I think that number is off. Now, that was from, where did I just read that from? That might have been from Christian Boer. I think his number's off. Let me get my notes open here. Someone's number's off. It's either Pro Football Reference or him. So what I have for Kirby Joseph is I had that he had 4 and 22, 4 and 23. No, he should have 7 now. So Pro Football Reference is not updated. So he definitely has 15.
Oh, okay.
Now, why is this important? So Christian Brewer's spot on. Good job. Why is this important? Well, there's a guy that used to play for us by the name of Glover Quinn. And in 2014, he had a crazy good year. And he was the interception leader, right? So in 2014, he brought in 7. Now, the individual that holds the record for the most career interceptions in a season is Night Train Lane when he played for the Rams. He had 14 in 1952. Kirby can get it. Kirby, if he were to get an interception in every game for the rest of the season, he can at least tie, if not beat the record. It's a crazy number to go after. And I'm sure he's not going to give up playing great defense just to ball hawk the ball. But Glover Quinn's stats, 6 seasons for the Detroit Lions, 19 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. That's what he had playing for the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
From 2013 to 2018, and then he retired. Kirby, so far through 3 seasons, has 15 interceptions and 1 pick six. So he is only 4 interceptions short of tying Glover Quinn and 1 pick six short of tying Glover Quinn. I firmly believe that Kirby is not only going to finally pass him, but I think that Kirby is going to end up at some point being the interception leader of the NFL for all time. The way that he is playing. Now, this is why I said in the offseason, too, when you look at bringing in big players, you look at the trade deadline, you look at bringing in big players. Eric, I mean, whether you agree or you don't, you'll let me know right now. But had the Lions gone out and spent a boatload of money on edge rushers in the trade deadline or in the offseason, how would we be able to pay Kirby Joseph? Because that contract is cooking right now. I guarantee it. How would we be able to do it?
Yeah, they have to be in talks right now. Oh my God, you got to get this kid locked up. And if you remember back in the preseason, before this season even started, Kirby Joseph, I don't remember if it was a tweet or a video or what, but he said he was going to intercept every quarterback in the NFL. Every quarterback that he played, he wanted to go on the quarterback interception tour. And he wanted to get an interception in every game this year against every quarterback, something like that. So he's well on his way, man. The kid is having an unbelievable season. And now, not to just have Kirby Joseph, but then you pair him with Brian Branch, the best 1-2 safety combo in the league, bar none, by far.
Well, let me make this an even better day for me yesterday. Calling my calls. So before the game, posted it on Twitter, and let me see. It was.
I got echo.
I got it fixed. It was before the game at 21 hours ago.
Yep.
I said Kirby Joseph. I tagged him and I said I can't wait to see at JCurb25 getting his hands on some pigskin today. So I called another pick, and this is the second game that I called a pick for Kirby that he got it. Now someone fired back saying, I think everyone is calling for picks for Kirby, which I think everyone is. I just looked at it from a different perspective. Like, this is a game I do expect him to get one. Based on the matchup, it's Mac Jones, it's the Jaguars, it's Kirby Joseph, it's Brian Brandt. It's going to happen. So I'm hoping that Kirby realizes, man, I got you back. Going to need some signed jerseys here pretty soon for Rock Down Cancer Foundation. Hopefully he honors the request when they get sent in, but he's playing at such an elite level, man. And you know what? It's not just Curb. It's Branch. It's Carlton. It's Amik. It's Terry and Arnold. I know that, there's quite a few Detroit Lions fans out there that are worried about Terry and Arnold. I saw earlier in the chat, hopefully Arnold doesn't burn us in a playoff game. I don't think it's going to happen. I see Arnold getting better week after week after week.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday was no different. Here's what I saw. Here are some notes that I took. On the one tackle by Amik when he was flying across the field. Dude's a Scud missile, man. He absolutely lays the wood. Branch, hardest hitting safety in the league. Yesterday, I forgot who he laid out there close to the sideline, but Branch was playing with a chip on his shoulder like, flag me for this, fine me for this, because it was such a clean hit. No flag, shouldn't be a fine. Terry and Arnold, like I just said, getting better week by week by week. Kirby, absolutely on fire right now. Do we have one of the best backfields in the league, Eric?
Oh, yeah, for sure. 1,000,000%. And I got a little tidbit for you. So the Detroit Lions are finally giving a little bit of love to some of the other players. What do I mean by that? Not the Penei Sewells, not the Jared Goffs, not the Hutch, not the Amon-Ra St. Browns or Gibbs or David Montgomery. You go in their pro shop, those jerseys are always there. You want to know something they had yesterday at the pro shop? This right here. They had Kirby Joseph black jerseys yesterday for the first time ever in the pro shop. I got an Anzalone and I got a Kirby Joseph before the game started in black. I could never find them. And it's nice to see that some of the other players, the defensive players, are finally getting their jerseys in the other colors and in, they have blue and black. It's really nice to see them in the pro shop for once, and they're getting some love. And then if you went and walked around the stadium to the other side where the Barry statue is, and you keep going around on the back side of the stadium, they just put up a new mural with all defensive players. And it's got Kirby and it's got Brian Branch and some of these guys, and Alex Anzalone and all them. It's really incredible to see. So it's nice to see some of our defensive players getting some love from the Detroit Lions, whether it's in the gift shop or up on the stadium or wherever it is.
All right. So yesterday there was a call out that we need a nickname for Branch and Curb.
Yeah.
And I think Woodward put one out. So I'm going to try to up it. Let's get some votes going. Here's what I went with, and I'm going to explain why. When you think about defense, I'll shout it out to Trace, right? Trace was in the Army, and she was just saying that her unit in the Army was shooting down those Scud missiles out of the sky, which is, again, I absolutely appreciate your service to this country. That's what I went with. I went with military style of call signs, because when I view these guys on defense, it's like a well-oiled military unit. Like, these guys are just back there operating at such a high level. So I'm thinking, all right, no fly zone, F-16 fighter jets, right? Or bones, the B-1s or whatever you want to call them. So I'm thinking, what can I come up with these guys? And I went with Shadow and Reaper. And Shadow and Reaper are frequently used as tactical call signs in the military. And the connotations are stealth, power, and elusiveness, which we have with these two guys. They're ball hawking, stealthy, right? Blending with the back walls, they try to say against the Rams. Power, Branch, the hardest hitting safety in the league. Elusiveness, which is Kirby when he's, finding his way to the ball. But Shadow would suggest a covert or reconnaissance role, operating in secrecy and often undetected. Reaper implies a more aggressive and potentially destructive role, often associated with a force that brings about an end or a significant change, which Branch does quite often. So Shadow and Reaper, that's what I'm going with. If you guys like it, start posting that all over Twitter. Make sure you tag at Will Rock Jr. on Twitter. I'll post it again today, or here, I'll post it right now. I love it, man. I like the Shadow and Reaper. It's up to you guys to make it happen. What do you think? You like those ones, Eric?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. So, Broski Bear, but I predicted a 30-point win, but it was a 46-point win. Amazing. What happened to your Bears, Broski Bear? My God, I want him to win a game one time this year. Well, two times. I just want him to beat the Packers twice, and you can't even help me out there.
Yeah, we definitely needed a little help yesterday. So that was a blocked field goal, right? At the end of the game?
Yeah, fingertip blocked field goal. Now, granted, the Bears their fans are very, very upset with their head coach right now, because it ended up being a 56-yard field goal attempt. And just like in the Lions game, there was time that he could have ran a couple of plays and tried to get it closer, but he didn't. And they don't have Jake Bates. They have Santos or Tassos or something. One of our ex-old kickers. And he didn't make it. He got it blocked. So there's a lot of Bears fans that are very upset that their coach didn't try to get a little closer. So don't know how hot his seat is getting, but it's got to be getting pretty warm right now. Him and Doug Peterson got to be sweating bullets right now.
All right, what do you got up for today, Eric? You're up.
Ah, sure. Okay. So I got a couple of questions. These are some over-under reactions since we haven't done this in a little while, okay? So I'm just going to give you a statement, and you tell me whether it's an overreaction or a underreaction. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Aaron Glenn is the defensive coordinator of the year for 2024.
Absolutely. He absolutely is. It's not an overreaction by any means. It's an underreaction because he deserves it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, when you look at what we've been up against and how many players that the Detroit Lions have lost this season, and again, he's operating at such a high level. He's like a tactician in there, surgically trying to figure out what he needs to do from game to game, missing this player, missing that player. This player goes down, that player goes down, and they don't drop a beat. They don't miss a beat. They just keep figuring it out. And that is not only the sign of an extremely good coach at his respective positions, right, taking care of the defense, but it is the makings of a great head coach. When you can think on your feet like that, and I know he's been, you know, kind of targeted for not making a lot of in-game transitions and that you know, in years past or seasons past, but he is absolutely doing everything necessary right now to keep these guys in the right position to win. So absolutely deserved of that.
Yep. I truly believe that too. I think he is going to win defensive coordinator of the year, if that's a thing. Just amazing. I can't believe the job this defense is doing. We held them under 200 yards yesterday and 6 points. Man, what an incredible job. I did not see this coming. I said I wanted a top 15 scoring defense. We have a top 5 scoring defense. I don't know exactly where we are after yesterday, but we'll find out soon. All right. My next one, Kirby Joseph will win Defensive Player of the Year.
Kirby Joseph will win Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. The last time a safety did it was Troy Polamalu.
I think that he and Branch should be in the top 10.
Yep.
For sure. In the top 10 voting. I think it should be a tough battle between those two. Here's what I would say. Do I believe that they both deserve a shot? Yes. Do I think that they're going to get it? No. And that's because it's just the way it's voted. And it seems like it's always a damn edge rusher, and it's not always the best player.
Yeah.
I think it's harder. I think it's harder to get an interception than it is to get a sack. I absolutely do. I think it's harder to do what these safeties are doing and what this DB group is doing than it is to get a sack or a pressure.
Yeah. Interceptions have to be harder than sacks. That's why I asked the question. All right. Now my next statement. Dariussmith will hit double-digit sacks in the regular season for the season. So right now he has what, 6.5 or 6?
Say that again.
So Dariussmith will hit double-digit sacks on the season.
Double digit, like 10? You mean for the Lions or just overall?
Just overall, because he started with 5 when he got here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, now the next one. Amon-Ra St. Brown currently has an 8-game streak of a touchdown in every game. Amon-Ra St. Brown will continue his touchdown record against the Indianapolis Colts.
Hey, quick question. Does anybody know what the other nickname was that was brought up? I don't remember what it was.
I don't either.
The other nickname for Branch and Kirby? Let me know in the chat. All right, what was your question again, Eric?
Will Amon-Ra St. Brown continue his touchdown streak against the Indianapolis Colts?
1,000%.
All right.
1,000%.
So there you go. There's your best bet for this weekend right there. You heard it from Will.
Oh, hold on a second here. Yep. Remember, bet at your own risk.
Yeah. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, anytime touchdown this weekend. It's coming. Number 9 in a row. All right. So here's my last question. All right. Last little statement. The 2024 Detroit Lions defense is the best defense in Detroit Lions history.
So a little context here. Are we talking
at the end of the year, it's going to be the best defense in Detroit Lions history?
That's a tough one, because if you're talking statistically, it may not be. I don't know. I'd have to look. If you're talking what this defense means to this team as far as wins and losses, yes, it is, in my opinion. In all the 44 years that I've been alive, 40 years that I've been watching Lions games, there's maybe a couple of defenses that stick out, and 2014 was one of them. Yep. This defense is better than 2014. Without a doubt, it's better. I just don't know statistically. I'd have to, we'll do a comparison. Maybe I'll do a video tonight or something. We'll do a comparison video between the two.
Just like eyeball test. Like, think about it. In the 90s, the Lions made the playoffs, like 4 to 5 years. Is this defense better than any of those defenses? Just eyeball thinking about it.
This defense is better than any defense that I've watched so far. And I said that day one of training camp. Day one that I was at training camp, I posted it on Twitter and I said, this is the best defense I have ever seen from the Detroit Lions this early in training camp.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you guys thought I was nuts. A lot of people did. They thought I was nuts because we didn't go out and get another edge rusher or this, that, or the other. And I'm telling you, it's just the way that they were playing. It's just how close-knit they seemed and how everybody was reacting and reading to the, to the play and swarming to the ball. And just how aggressive they were in training camp. Yeah. And this was the first day I saw them live. It was on my birthday. It was on July 29. And I was like, man, this defense is going places. So they've backed it all up, and they're just getting better and better and better. And I'll tell you what, come week 18, when the script flips to playoffs, I don't see a team that's going to be able to hold a candle to us. Not number one, but number two, coming into Ford Field, forget about it.
Yep. Hey, in the chat, I see Brent Lighton says Sub-Zero and Scorpion for Terrion and Carlton is kind of hard as AF. I like Sub-Zero, and Scorpion would be pretty cool for Carlton. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, there was a nickname that Woodward Sports or Detroit Free Press or somebody put out, and I just don't know what it was. I don't remember.
Broski Bear, how about Humpty and Dumpty? Jeez.
Yeah, but our eggs don't break. We're breaking other people's huevos, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Come on, Broski Bear, you can do better. Oh, I'm amazed he's around today with his Bears getting destroyed yesterday.
I think that he's an honorary Lion at this point.
Yeah. Bandwagon, he's jumping on. He's in with us.
Oh, I think they put out Smash and Grab. I think that's a good, I like that name too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, I'm going to put the poll up. Here we go.
Brian Branch should definitely be Smash. How about Ben and Teller? Oh, geez.
What's Ben and Teller? What's that?
No, they're the music or magician guys or something.
Oh, they are magicians.
Yeah.
Absolutely are magicians.
Did you notice that Zadarius Smith came to the stadium in a Bad Boys jersey yesterday?
Yeah, he was wearing a Rasheed Wallace jersey.
Yeah. That was awesome.
All right, let's see. I just posted it up on the Twitter at Will Rock Jr. So we put a little poll out. We put Smash and Grab up, Shadow and Reaper. We'll see. We'll see how many votes we get. I think they're both great. I think they're both great nicknames, but I like the Shadow and Reaper a little bit better. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I just don't know of any other video game type, names. You know what I mean? I just don't know of any other ones. All right, what else do you have for today?
Don't really play video games.
I don't either.
Let's see. So I did have one little thing here. Another record for the Lions. So this is from the Detroit Lions PR staff. The Detroit Lions, the only teams in NFL history to allow one passing TD or less and intercept at least one pass in each of the first 10 games. So in the first 10 games, no more than one TD pass and an interception in each of the first 10 games. The 2024 Lions, the 1985 Eagles, the 1984 Broncos, and the 1939 Giants. So our defense is doing something special, beyond special. This is beyond anything we've ever seen in our lifetime. Record-wise, defense-wise, scoring-wise, everything. This feels special. And when I was there yesterday, my wife was like, man, you're probably mad that you went to the game. That was a blowout. That wasn't even fun. And I'm like, I went and witnessed history in the making. And you could feel it. That stadium was electric yesterday. And I have a great video on my Facebook. You can go watch it, of the wave going around Ford Field.
Best wave I've ever seen. Best wave I've ever been a part of.
It did 6 rotations. It was so loud.
Oh, it was more than 6. It was like 6 minutes long.
Yeah, it was going around. And while Mac Jones was out there throwing the ball on offense, and that's when Kirby picked him off, was during the wave, and I got it all on video. It was awesome. So that's really cool to see. And you can just feel this electric feeling when you're in the stands at the game. This team is different. There is something special. I don't know if you want to call it the team of destiny, it's not even a feeling of cockiness. It's not a feeling of knowing we're going to win. It's just this, we are destined to win these games. We are destined to go to the Super Bowl. I can just feel it. It's unlike any feeling I've ever had as a fan of the Detroit Lions. It's absolutely amazing. And you feel it when you're in the stands and you're watching these players.
So I do have the video. Trying to find your cam real quick. I don't know why your guest cam is not in here. There we go. Make sure your cam is in this thing. Let me see if this is the video here.
Oh, of the wave?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah, I think I stopped recording right before his interception, but yeah, look at it go.
Now, this was going on. There was a player injured. I think that at the time there's a Jaguars player injured. So this was like a full 4 minutes or so that this was going on. It started probably a minute before that, and it went well into when the Jaguars started. So that was just 2 rotations right there that I think I captured. Yeah. And there was probably at least, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 more. It went on forever.
Yeah, it just kept going and going.
It was the most consistent wave I've ever been a part of since the Silverdome.
Yep. And that's what I was going to say. The only time I can ever remember the wave like that was at the Silverdome. I've never seen it like that at Ford Field before. Ever.
It's absolutely incredible, man.
Yeah.
It's good to see us doing these types of things again, because this brings back the energy that we used to have as Lions fans during the Barry days.
Yep.
Like that's the last time you can think of that it seemed like Lions fans were really having a good time. We really enjoyed those 10 years of Barry Sanders. And then, you know, Calvin Johnson, even I really don't remember a whole lot of waves going on during that era. There might have been a couple. I know we tried to start them, but they always fizzled out. And not like this. Yesterday was beautiful, man. It was great to watch.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely
a lot of fun. Maybe we can get the wave going again in Indianapolis this weekend. That'd be kind of fun. We're taking over that stadium. The tickets were so cheap last week when I bought them. And I'm telling you what, we are taking over that stadium. It's only a couple hour drive from Detroit, 3-4 hours. And yeah, Detroit is coming to town on Sunday.
All right. So I've got a quick, I've got a quick question. I need some help on a project. So next year, I'm going to be doing my own tailgate thing. I was supposed to be last year, turned up tailgates, got the truck, started building out the truck. I hit my truck got smashed. Then I hit a deer. So got the truck back. And then I decided maybe this year, I don't know, maybe am I just going to go buy a new Lions truck? Then Eric bought one. So I might just still continue to build my truck. But either way, I'm going to build a float. And I've got a trailer, brand new trailer that I'm going to build a float on. So I need some help. Like, if anybody knows how to make big plastic, plastic or epoxied or some sort of thick plastic. I want lions cut out. So it looks like on the trailer that there's two lions kind of, going down the highway. And so I want that to be the sides of the float. But on the float itself is going to be, there's going to be grills and like a smoker, and it's going to be set up for food service so that we can do our turned up tailgates with food and drinks. And, there'll be a fee obviously to go in. All the money is going to go to Rock Down Cancer Foundation. And then I'm going to have a podcast booth. So if Eric's going to be with me or whomever, I'll have the podcast live. We'll have, generators and everything, but electric ones, so it's not loud. We'll have, big PA speakers up so everybody around us can hear the podcast. And then we'll have a bunch of merchandise and everything for sale that, again, will all go towards Rock Down Cancer Foundation. So I'll be making a whole bunch of different product. But my question here is, if anybody knows how to make those or has like a CNC machine that can carve out, some product for me and willing to help donate some hours towards this, I would definitely appreciate it. I'll buy all the product, deliver it to you. We can come up with an idea, and that would really help me out a ton. So if you do, or if you know somebody that would be willing to help with this, or you just got a big, backyard shop or something at your home, I have all the tools. I just don't have a big shop really to do this kind of stuff. And I'm not the greatest when it comes to that anyway. So mailbag@rockdown.com. Reach out if you'd love to help and be part of it. I want to build a beautiful float that we bring to every tailgate, and we're going to start our own tradition, or at least I am, with my turned up tailgates, and really try to level up what we do year in and year out, and try to promote the Rock Down Cancer Foundation the right way. So if you want to be part of it, I'd love for you guys to be a part of it. If you want to come visit next year, that would be great. I'm going to try to bring the float down to the Hall of Fame game in the summer. So that's my goal. Got to hit it hard in June and be done by July. So, all right, that'll be fun. What's next, Eric? What do we got left on the books here? So Jahmyr Gibbs complimented Montgomery's early stat perfectly yesterday as he took the reins on Detroit's second drive. He had a 23-yard run to put the Lions inside the 5-yard line, then punched it in for a score from a yard out. Again, just kind of part of this historic day that the Detroit Lions had yesterday. There was some more records that were broken. I'm going to look at the Lions Twitter machine here.
Did you see the thing about Gibbs yesterday and his speed?
Yeah, he hit just under 22 miles an hour.
Yeah. So he hit 22 in the first game of the season. And then yesterday he hit 21. His second, it was the second and sixth fastest speeds hit this season. So he has 2 of the top 6 speeds of the season this year.
Wow.
Makes me,
we know he's fast. I mean, hardly anyone could beat him to the edge.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if him and J-Mo had a foot race, who would win? I always said it would be J-Mo, but...
Well, they have. And so what Amon-Ra said was that J-Mo will beat you in long speed, but Gibbs beats you in the short speed. So like 0 to 40, Gibbs is faster. But like from 30 on, that's when J-Mo keeps hitting gears.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, hey, I'm not complaining.
Take it either way.
Right. Detroit Lions, as of 1 hour ago, are the only teams in the NFL history to rush for 100-plus yards and a TD in the first 10 games of a season. The 2024 Lions, and before that, 1975 Dolphins, 1972 Cowboys, 66 Cowboys, 1960 Packers, 1948 Browns, 1948 49ers, and then again the Lions in 1936, and then the lowly Bears in 1934. I'm wondering how many of those teams are Super Bowl teams. I'm curious. Let me put it into the machine here. How many of these teams were Super Bowl teams in these years? Let's find out. Let's see what Gemini has to say. So the Dolphins were Super Bowl winners in 73 and 74, not 75. The Dallas Cowboys did win the Super Bowl in 72. They did not win in 67, but they won in 66, but they won in 67. The Packers won in 60, or they won the NFL championship game in 1960, pre-Super Bowl era. The Browns won the NFL championship in 4. So this is crazy. Hold on. Hold the phone here, guys. I think I'm onto something. Where did that just go? So let me read this again. The only teams in NFL history to rush for 100 yards and a TD in each of the first 10 games of a season. Let me start from the bottom. The 1934 Bears. The 1934 Bears won the NFL championship. The 1936 Lions. We did not win in 36. We won in 35. The 1948 49ers, they did not win in 48, but they were still a new team in the AAFC. But the 1948 Browns won the NFL championship. The 60 Packers won the NFL championship. And the Cowboys won the Super Bowl in 72. So there's something to be said here. Like over half these teams either won the Super Bowl or the championship in the same year that they accomplished that feat. So it says something to the running game, yeah?
Yeah. Do you remember back in the preseason how we talked about the Detroit Lions possibly having 2 1,000-yard rushers and 2 1,000-yard receivers? We are on pace right now to get 3 out of the 4. And Jamo's pretty close with like 980 yards if he keeps up his current pace. And Amon-Ra St. Brown's looking at about 1,100 yards. David Montgomery just over 1,000. And Gibbs with 1,300. Man, we could be doing some very, very special things this year.
Yeah.
And with some of the teams that we have coming up, I don't see why not.
So Brett, light into your comments. I mean, I don't know what your comments are all about this morning. Maybe someone pissed in your Cheerios, but saying that JMO has long speed, that is stupid. You can tell Amon-Ra that because that came out of Amon-Ra's mouth. I'm just repeating what he said. So good morning to you too, buddy. Next up, third best DVOA in history right now. Detroit Lions, 2024. Win-loss, 9-1. DVOA, 49.8%. The only two teams ahead of the Detroit Lions were the 1991 Washington Redskins at 10-0 and the 2007 New England Patriots at 10-0. The Washington Redskins were 52.3 and the Patriots 73.3%. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. 73.3%. That's insanity. And just in case you need to know what DVOA means, it stands for Defense Adjusted Value Over Average. It's a football statistic created by Football Outsiders that aims to measure a team's efficiency. And if you guys have listened to me long enough, you know how important efficiency is to me. I feel like efficiency on defense when it comes to pressures versus sacks, efficiency on offense, you know, when it comes to touches and yards, it's all relative. It's all relative to how you play the game. It's all relative to how you win the game. And it's all relative to how each team kind of matches up against you to figure out what they need to do to try to beat you. And so far, I don't think that there's any team that's really figuring out just how to beat the Detroit Lions just yet. Obviously, the Bucs did, but I feel that the Lions beat themselves that day. I don't think it was anything that the Bucs were doing outside of the Lions just couldn't get a few things rolling early enough in that game. Yesterday,
the major mistake in that game was that our special teams unit ran on the field while Jared Goff was spiking the ball. That would have gave us a field goal right there. And then when we got into the red zone 7 times in the second half, we could have kicked field goals and won the game easily.
So yesterday, the Lions tied an NFL record by having 4 players produce 95 plus scrimmage yards and a TD. Amon-Ra with 157 plus 2 TDs. Jameson Williams 126 plus a TD. Jahmyr Gibbs 123 plus a TD. And David Montgomery 95 plus a TD. Brent, I saw your comment in there. Appreciate that, buddy. This was only the 5th occurrence in NFL history. What are we not doing, Eric?
I don't know.
What are we not doing? The Lions have produced 2 games with 7 TDs and 50 points this season for the first time in franchise history.
You know what we're not doing? We're not losing. That's what we're not doing.
So let me ask you guys this. I mean, if the Lions don't win a Super Bowl this year, this is an epic failure.
Exactly.
And I hate to even put the pressure on them like that, because the fact that, of everything that they've done so far has been nothing short of incredible. I mean, it's almost too perfect of the comeback, right? The comeback story. It's almost too perfect from where they were last year. And in the things that they were doing last year, you would think to yourself, man, can it really get better? Can we really get better than we were last year? And we are. And I think for a lot of fans, and I'm not trying to keep, picking away at the defense here, but I think for a lot of us, it was defense. Like, our defense had to get better. We had to be a top 15. Eric, if you wouldn't mind finding like kind of where we're at as far as defensive ranks right now.
Scoring or just overall?
No, just overall. I mean, we were teetering with a top 5 defense. We were like top 2, top 4 in a lot of categories. I would say that we have to be at least a top 5 defense right now.
Oh, let's see.
But I guess that's my question to you guys. I mean, let me get this stupid Q&A off. Let me put up a new one.
So total defense. This is defensive yard average. The Detroit Lions are way down there. We're at 20th right now with 345 yards per game and 17 touchdowns allowed. But
you say we're only at 20th top ranked defense?
Yep, for passing.
No, I'm saying overall.
Yep. So that was their overall. And then the Lions passing, we're 28th. Rushing defense, we are 6th. And then scoring defense, we are number 8. But no, this is wrong because this is last week. Yeah, they haven't updated yet.
No, that's fine. I mean, what were we, headed into last week is fine.
Yeah, heading into last week, we were 8th in scoring defense with 19 points per game, but we dropped that a couple points.
I guess what I'm looking for is like where are the Lions ranked overall? What is the top ranked defense right now?
Yeah, in total defense, it's the Eagles right now. But that's just defensive yards average.
All right, so if we look at pass rush, defensive rankings, team pass and rush stats. Wow. The Lions, 20th at 345 defensive yards average. That's going to go way down because we just allowed 170. TDs allowed 17. Well, that's going to stay the same because we didn't allow any TDs yesterday. Passing defense. This is, I think, the same thing you were reading. The Lions are 28th at 244.2 per game. And they've only allowed, this is the thing, they've only allowed 7 pass TDs this entire season.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when you look at that, only the Bears have allowed 6, and that's it. So we're tied for second overall with pass TDs allowed on the season. Yet our defensive passing is ranked pretty low, and I think that's just because of the yards. But I think that we all agree here, when you're playing from a lead, right? So normally in yesterday's game, Eric, what do we normally see? Bend but don't break the last half, right?
Yeah.
And you usually let a team come back and they get a bunch of yards and they're stat padding, and that didn't happen yesterday.
None. Yeah.
They just kept the pressure up. They did not back down.
They didn't back down till the last second. There was no prevent defense at all yesterday. None.
So rush defense, the Lions have only allowed 9 rush TDs, and they're just now over 100 yards. This is as of previous. So this is as of Saturday. So they're at 100.8 yards per game. So that's going to drop way off after what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, we allowed them to how many yards in the game? I don't remember. I don't have it up.
40 something.
That was it, right? Wasn't ETN, didn't he have a negative yardage on the day?
No, I think he had 34 yards, something like that. It was not very much.
Well, either way, that's going to come down. So we'll be back under 100 again. And if you look at the teams out there that we're possibly going to face, whether it's the Ravens or the Chiefs or the Steelers or the Eagles, they're all great against the run. But I guess that's going to be my next poll question here is, what team are you afraid of right now? We went through this last week, and we'll go through it again tomorrow when the rest of the ranks come out. But what team are you afraid of right now?
For me, the only team that even gives me pause is the Buffalo Bills. But we're playing them at home on blackout day. It's going to be, I think it's a 4:00 game, if I remember correctly. And
it'll probably get bumped to Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. But that's going to be the marquee matchup. That's the only one. You know, the 49ers, they just lost to the Seahawks, who were in last place. Now, every team in that division has 5 wins except for the Cardinals. They have 6 wins, and they were on a bye. None of them scare me. The Packers don't scare me. The Bears don't scare me. The Colts don't scare me. The Vikings don't scare me. And that's all we got left. You know, we have divisional matchups, 2 with the Bears, 1 with the Vikings, 1 with the Packers, all at home. We already beat both of them on the road. They don't scare me at all. And the 49ers aren't looking like the 49ers of old. The Bills, they're the only winning team that we have left on the schedule that would even give me pause. And that's because of Josh Allen running around, being able to do things with his feet like he did last night.
I am not worried about Josh running around. I'm just not. But to your point, and to Jay-Z's point in here, you know, he says that the Buffalo game is going to be a great test after the Indianapolis, Chicago, and Green Bay gauntlet in 11 days. That is what I think we're up against, is a lot of games in a short amount of time. Thankfully, 3 out of the next 4 games are at home. So we don't have a bunch of travel. That does help. That does help. And even if we were to lose to the Bills, who cares? Because we don't need the game. We don't need the game for any other reason than just to add another win. But I don't think that we're going to need that game. I'm going to put some work in today and kind of start measuring out, you know, where the Lions can lock up, you know, the North, where they can lock up a 1 seed. But super shout out to Richard Morris this morning. He says, I had an epiphany. We have Billy Sims and No Barry Sanders back on the team, both at the same time this time. Knuckles is Billy and Sonic is Barry. Hey, I love it.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it.
Yep.
It's crazy that we have them both here at the same time, though.
Yeah, it is.
But you don't take running backs in the first round at pick 12, right?
And you don't steal them from your own division either.
Yeah, it's
so
crazy.
Talking about locking up the division, I think it's going to come down to week 17 or 18 before we absolutely lock up the division, and that's only because the Vikings have a very, very easy schedule to end the season. And that's the reason because they're going to keep winning. the Vikings are going to keep winning. They have a bunch of easy games coming up. They got the Bears twice. Who else did they have? They just went through a couple of easy games, but they do have Atlanta, so Atlanta might be able to give them some trouble. But Atlanta just lost to the Saints this week, or no, they just lost to somebody. Yeah. Let me look at the Vikings remaining schedule.
The Falcons.
Yeah,
they lost yesterday.
Yeah.
They did not look good. They looked terrible, and that was against the Broncos.
Yeah, so the Vikings won 23-13 yesterday. Now let's look at what games they have left here.
Here we
So
go. Let me pull this in. Let me show these guys this real quick.
Okay.
There you go. There's your roll to the Lombardi right there. So the Detroit Lions have your number 1 seed as of today. The Washington Commanders are the 7th, going up against Philly. The Green Bay Packers are the 6th, going up against the Cardinals. And the Minnesota Vikings are the 5th, going up against the 4th seed Falcons. On the other side, you've got the Kansas City Chiefs as the 1 seed. Denver and Buffalo, I mean, as of today, that's a really good matchup. They could knock Buffalo out the way that Denver's been playing. The 6th seed Baltimore against the 3rd seed Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers could knock out the Ravens for us. The Chargers and the Texans. I quite honestly would rather see the Chargers beat the Texans in that game and allow them to move forward. I do not want to face the Texans at all again this season, which would mean a Super Bowl. So I do not want to see that defense with a healthy Will Anderson added to it at all, or a healthy Nico Collins. And I'm not saying that I'm afraid of competition. I'm just, when you look at the lineups, what everybody does, don't say that you don't. You'd rather have the easier path, right? I think the path it is what it is, and I don't think that the Lions are afraid of anybody, but that would be the easier path, Matter of fact, maybe I'm saying that wrong. Maybe we'd rather see the Texans beat the Chargers so that there's an opportunity that they have to go up against the Kansas City Chiefs and knock out the Chiefs. That's a good question. Who would you rather have? Who would you rather have as a Super Bowl matchup?
I want to play Denver. That'd be awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Why not? Bo Nix. They have a good defense. It'd be fun to play them.
I mean, that would be the the Peyton and Campbell matchup again.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember when we were at the Combine together and we were watching JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix and what's his name? Melton and all these other quarterbacks throw the ball. And I remember saying, I think this Bo Nix kid is going to be better than Caleb Williams. I don't know if you remember me saying that. And I've stuck to it since then, that I think Bo Nix is going to have a better career than Caleb Williams. And so far, he's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
And he looked like a 43-year-old guy out there throwing the ball around.
Who was that?
Bo Nix. Remember how old he looked?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to run through some of these. We'll finish out, maybe go over a little bit this morning. I'm going to roll through some of these weeks here and just kind of pick some of these teams and let's see kind of where this lines up. So LA and Eagles, this is always a good matchup. And I'm going to take LA. It's at home. Ravens and Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers. I think the Chargers can hang with them. So I'm going to take
great last night.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers against the Browns, which the Browns, they lost my parlay yesterday. I had a 13-game parlay, and they lost it for me. I hit on 12 out of 13.
Dude, I hit my parlay yesterday for $1,600. It was awesome.
Yeah, I put 50 cents in to win 2,400.
Oh, jeez, Pete.
And I lost by 1 game.
Oh, man.
And I was so busy, inside the stadium that I didn't, and then when I left, I never looked for the early cash out.
Yeah.
I should have took it.
Oh, man.
50 cents to win 24 hours. Free money. I don't really care.
I purposely don't look at my phone during the games. That way I don't take the early cash out. I'm a all or nothing kind of guy. I want to win it all or nothing.
All right, so week 12, I'm going to take Steelers. I'm going to take the Bucks over the Giants. I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Panthers. I'll take Washington over the Cowboys. I'll make sure I wasn't getting a phone call there. I'll take the Dolphins over the Patriots. I'm going to take the Texans over the Titans. I'll take the Lions over the Colts. I'll take the Vikings over the Bears. Broncos over the Raiders. Niners over the Packers, which I'm hopeful for. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm hopeful.
We got to
Cardinals over the Birds or the Sea Chickens. I'm going to take the Rams over the Eagles. Again, I'm hopeful for that one. And then I'm going to take the Chargers over the Ravens. Week 13, Lions over the Bears. We'll take the lowly Cowboys over the Giants. We'll take the Dolphins over the Packers. Kansas City over the Raiders. New England over the Colts. Steelers over the Bengals. Chargers over the Falcons. Sea Chickens over the Jets. Texans over the Jags. Cardinals over the Vikings. Commanders over the Titans. Bucks over the Panthers. Rams over the Saints. Ravens over the Eagles. Bills over the 49ers, and the Broncos over the Browns again. Week 14, Lions over the Packers. Oh, well, we'll take the Giants over the Saints. Steelers over the Browns. Vikings over the Cardinals. Nope, Falcons over the Vikings. Bucks over the Raiders. Eagles over the Panthers. Oh, it's a toss-up. We'll take the Titans over the Jags. We'll take the Dolphins over the Jets. It's literally a toss-up.
Not that it matters.
Right. Do I really want to see the the Rams beat the Buffs or beat the Bills right now? I don't know.
Yeah, go with it.
I don't know I don't think it's going to happen, though.
No, I would say the Bills will.
I think the Bills are going to win that game. The Bears are definitely not going to beat the 49ers. The Chiefs and the Chargers, that is going to be like one of the games of the week. That's going to be a huge game. You know what? I'm going to take the Chargers right now.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens as we get closer. Bengals are going to beat up the boys. Pittsburgh moving into the 1 seed. Wow. Look at that. With a Chiefs loss in week 14. And
you notice the cheeseheads aren't in there anymore either. And I have a big bet right now. I placed it a long time ago that the Packers will not make the playoffs.
Let me just keep rolling through this here. Chiefs over the Browns. If the Browns defense actually comes to play, man, that's a tough deal. I just think the Chiefs are going to overmatch them. Texans, I think, are going to beat up the Dolphins there in week 15. We'll take the Broncos over the Colts. I think New England can handle the Cardinals, but I'm going to go Cardinals in week 15. Lions and Bills, I'll come back to that one. Bucks and Chargers, I'll take the Chargers. Eagles and Steelers. This is going to be another game of the week, man. That is going to be a tough game. I'm going to roll Pittsburgh's defense on that day.
Who's Green Bay playing that week?
Green Bay's got the Sea Chickens.
Oh, okay.
All right, then we got the Bears and the Vikings. So right now, I mean, does it really matter?
I'd say Vikings.
Yeah, it's probably going to be. It's at home too.
The Bears are just pathetic.
All right, week 16. Here we go. We'll do Bengals over the Browns. That's going to be a tough game.
Did you pick that Lions-Bills game?
I didn't. Yeah. We'll take the Lions.
There you go.
All right. Texans and Chiefs. That's going to be a tough game. I'm going to take the Texans right now. As much as I want to see the Ravens lose to the Steelers, right now I'm going to take the Ravens.
There you go.
I'll take the Bills. I'll take the Rams. Another great game. The Eagles and the Commanders.
Give it to the Commanders this time because
I just don't know.
Yeah, well, I think they split. I
mean, that's a good way to look at it too. If they split, that at least gives it some even opportunity here to kind of see where it ends up. Colts and the Titans, we'll take the Titans. Lions, obviously, over the Bears. Broncos and Chargers, that's going to be a tough game. If the Broncos defense shows up, I think that it's going to be a really close game.
Who's it at? It's at Seattle or at San Diego.
At LA.
I'd give it to LA if it's at LA.
Raiders will pick one up. San Fran and the Dolphins. Bucks over the Cowboys. That'll happen. Green Bay over the Saints will probably happen. All right, we'll go San Francisco in there just to keep it wild. Week 17.
Wow. That'd get them into the playoffs and have the cheeseheads out. That's awesome.
Okay, week 17. So I'm going to go, man, Pittsburgh and KC, another phenomenal game. Texans and Ravens again. That's funny how all of these games are ending up towards the end of the season. Right? So where was the Texans? Didn't they just play?
Well, they purposely backloaded the end of the season with all of the division games this year.
Yeah.
It's the first time they've ever done it where they threw basically all of the division games right at the end of the season.
I keep giving the Bucks the win, but I do believe, and the Titans, but I think that they're going to drop one. Colts will take on the Giants. They'll take that. Washington and Atlanta. That's another really good game. Bengals and Broncos. I'm going to go Broncos in that one. I'll go Chargers over the Pats, which I think the Pats could do something in that game.
Yeah,
Rams or Cards.
Rams or Cards. I'll take the Cardinals. I really need Atlanta to make the playoffs because I need Kirk. I need Kirk Cousins to win comeback player of the year. I bet $50 on it before the season started.
Oh, he can still win it. Chiefs and Steelers. Anybody?
At the Steelers, give it to the Steelers.
Yeah. I thought
terrible
so too.
Calls, man. I could easily see them being the number 1 seed.
All right, so we got Green Bay and Vikings at Vikings. I think the Vikings can do it.
I'll give it to the Vikings.
Then that knocks Green Bay back out.
Yeah. Thank you, Vikings.
And then we got Washington and Atlanta.
Whew.
I'm going to roll Washington at home.
Yeah.
That puts Washington into the 2 seed, which, honestly, I'd rather see them there than anywhere else. Having to take on a team like the 49ers or the Eagles. What this is showing me is, even based on, these games being, I think I'm picking them fairly solid. Anything can happen over the next several weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Week 18, we'll take the Texans. We'll take the Falcons. And of course, injuries matter. I'm going to say the Saints pick up a game against the Bucks just because I want to see one more Bucks loss because I gave them every win so far.
You don't think the Bucks make the playoffs?
Do what?
You don't think the Bucks make the playoffs?
Right now, the way that these games are going, I let them win every game except for the last one. If I let them win this game, then they're in.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll roll with the Bucks. Rams again at home. Seahawks. I'll take the Rams. Take the Bills.
If we were to face the Bucks in the playoffs, I'm not afraid of them. Not at all.
Well, I'm not the second time around. Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
All right, so Washington at Cowboys.
Washington.
Dak's done, so.
Yeah, the Cooper Rush.
Yeah. KC at the Broncos. That's a tough matchup.
Yep. What did we give the other one to the Broncos? Give that one to KC?
Kind of messes with the tiebreakers.
Yep.
I
like them all splitting. And that's a division.
All right, Lions so week 18. I'm going to say the Lions drop week 18 because they're resting players. That doesn't do anything to our 1 seed.
Nope.
Okay, even if I go back to week 17, let's say the Lions lose to San Francisco. It does nothing to our 1 seed.
And
Let me go back to week 16. If the Lions lost to the Bears, it does nothing to our 1 seed.
Yep.
So there's 3 losses. If all of the other games that I picked remain the same, at 14-3, the Lions are still the 1 seed, which is what I predicted them to be this season, was 14-3. If we drop to the Bills, then our 1 seed changes.
Yeah.
Now, again, you could put all of those wins in any other order or losses in any other order. I just went, from, back to front here. So if the Lions lose 3 games, they can still, if they're 14-3, they can get the 1 seed for sure.
If we drop a game before that week 18 game against the Vikings, we will not be resting our starters, and we will win that game at the end of the year.
No, I firmly believe if we're 2 losses down against the Vikings and we've already wrapped up the 1 seed, we'll absolutely be resting players.
Oh, yes. But what I'm saying is if we drop a game to the Bills and we need that game to lock up the 1 seed on week 18,
right,
then we're playing. And I firmly, dude, I just feel it in my bones. We're going 15-2. And I hope, well, not hope, I would be pleasantly surprised if we went 16-1.
All right, so I'm going to give Green Bay the win against the Bears. I'm going to have the Lions lose against the Vikings only because I feel like we're going to be resting players.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I'm not even afraid that we would lose that game. I still think we're going to come to play. I think our backups will play just fine, and I don't think the Vikings are going to show up. All right, so that's it. So there you go. If all of that happened the way that I just went down, and I think I picked the games fairly consistent with what should happen or could happen, do we see the Pittsburgh Steelers really being the 1 seed?
Oh, that'd be great.
All right, so week 12, what did I do? I had the Steelers beat the Browns, and I had the Chiefs beat the Panthers. Like week 13, I had the Pittsburgh Steelers beat, or they did not play that week. I don't think they played that week.
Yeah, up on the right, in the middle, to the right.
The Steelers?
Yeah, isn't that to the right? Right there.
Oh, yeah. I had the Steelers beat the Bengals, and I had the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Raiders. So, I mean, that game makes sense, but let's say they lose to the Bengals. Then it puts Buffalo in as the 1 seed. Week 14, I had the Chiefs lose to the Chargers. Let's say they win. That puts Buffalo back in the 1 seed. And I had the Steelers win against the Brownies. If they lose, it just drops them completely out of the playoffs. So it almost looks like the Steelers need to...
Oh, they'd still be in.
No, I'm sorry. They'd be the 3rd seed. Sorry. Yeah, because they'd be a division winner.
Yep.
So I guess that's the big question here. Do you want to see Pittsburgh or Baltimore win the AFC North?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we would do better against a better defense versus the Lions going against a better offense and defense, which the Baltimore Ravens seem to have.
Mm-hmm.
Week 15, I had the Steelers beating the Eagles. And again, if they were to lose, that just puts them in as the 3 seed and puts the Ravens as a 6. And the Chiefs, I had them beating the Brownies. Nothing changes if they win or lose that game. Week 16, as far as the Chiefs, they were losing to the Texans. It is at home. If they win, that does nothing. And again, it just rolling through this, I don't know how much better you could really make it, but I had the Steelers losing to the Ravens that week, and it still puts the Steelers as the 1 seed. Week 17, Steelers beating the Kansas City Chiefs at home. If they lose that game, it just drops the Steelers to the 3rd seed, Kansas City to the 2 seed, Buffalo jumps up to the 1 seed. And then the Ravens, I had them beating the Texans that week. No. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. I think the Lions are in a good spot.
Yep, I do too.
14-3 definitely gets us into 1 seed conversation. I'm going to play with this some more tonight because I think what I want to do is I want to have the Lions go 14-3, and then let's see if every other team that, you know, is even in the top 7 conversation, if they win all out, what changes? Like, what happens? You know, how many games do they need to lose? There's so many different scenarios. It's crazy. It's way too far out to even go through this, but it's just kind of a fun exercise. This is the ESPN.com playoff machine. So if you want to play with it in your own time, it's just kind of fun. You got a hour or something you want to dick around with it. It's kind of fun. So we'll be doing it every week. We'll be highlighting it probably on Tuesdays. Once we get past the Monday night games, we'll be following it from here on out. You know, how the playoff matchup is going to lead into the playoff run and eventual Super Bowl run for the Detroit Lions. Man, what an epic win yesterday. I'm glad that I was glad that I was able to go and meet Randy and his daughter. And it was such an epic game, man. The crowd was phenomenal. The wave, I mean, everything that you're looking forward to at Ford Field was alive yesterday. It was a great time.
All right. I think to end the show today, I'm going to end on this. The Detroit Lions. Yes, the Detroit Lions have the best odds in the NFL to win the Super Bowl at plus 350, and the Kansas City Chiefs are at plus 450. So for the first time ever in my lifetime, the Lions are favored to win the Super Bowl going into week 11 of a season. This is incredible times we're living in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens next. We've got the Colts this weekend on the road, and then the Lions are home for what, 3 in a row?
Yeah.
We've got the Bears at home, the Packers at home, and the Bills at home. And then we're back on the road to Soldier Field, week 17. The Lions are back on the road 2 weeks in a row, heading back out to San Francisco, or not really San Francisco, Santa Clara. And then back at home to end the season against the Vikings. If you were to put in your predictions for the rest of the season, who do you want for a Super Bowl matchup? Right now, it looks like it's between the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Steelers as the obvious number 1 seed potential for the AFC. And I'm not afraid of anybody in the NFC right now. I mean, I'm really not. I'm really not. I think the Lions defense is going to overpower Jaden Daniels. He's young. He's proven that he can beat some good teams. I think that, Philly has always offered up good games, great matchups. But again, I think this defense is going to be too much. And then when you combine that with the offense, it is literally unstoppable right now. There's just not a lot of teams that can hang with us. No one's really been able to figure it out. The Texans did a good job, but and against the Packers, it was a pretty crappy day. All right, that's it for today's Rise and Grind Morning Show. Back at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll see what's coming up next. Thanks for joining in today, guys. Appreciate you guys. Go on, Pride, go Detroit Lions. We'll see you next time.
Every day, thousands of people are discovering Uper Lights, Michigan's newest, funnest rock to go find on the shores of the Great Lakes. Don't go out with just any light. Try the Convoy C8 from uperlights.com. It's guaranteed for life, and you'll find all the ones everyone else misses. Quality UV lights that are perfect for Uper Lights with prices starting as low as $20. Please make sure to visit uperlights.com for all your UV flashlight needs with the best guarantees on the market. Just what you wanted and not what you didn't. The best quality, the best guarantees, and the best UV flashlights from uperlights.com.